Hey, all you crazy sci-fi and fantasy fans. It's time for your daily dose of shenanigan over here at the Blasters and Blaze podcast. This time we're going to talk about what I'm reading. So what am I reading now? I just finished 1-800 Starship by JN Chaney, which was published by Variant Publications. As far as rating, I'd give this a PG-13 parental advisory scale of awesomeness. There was some fighting and obviously some violence, but no real gore and no graphic death scenes. The language is mostly family friendly. The insults were made up ones, so you don't have to worry about them repeating it to their teachers. So overall, a wholesome book you could let your preteen read. So as far as that goes, well done, JN Chaney. So for the ad copy, call now, become a Nova Slinger today. Those are the words Mark Allen Reed inside an old 80s comic book buried in the back of his uncle's retro 80s arcade. Between playing Galaga and Pac-Man, he decides to pick up the phone and give it a call, only to discover that number still works. It doesn't take long before an old man shows up at his doorstep, dressed in strange clothes, driving a DeLorean and calling himself the Recruiter. Mark thinks he's won a prize from some old contest, but the reality is far stranger. The old man has come to take Mark to a faraway space station to train for an impossible fight against an enemy that threatens everything. All right, so that's the ad copy. Definitely sold me on the book, although I was sold by episode 628 I did with JN Chaney about the book. So first elephant in the room, I loved the nostalgia bits. It was a nod to my childhood, and I was there for it. The initial call to action was definitely a love letter to The Last Starfighter. It was set in a 2025 retro diner, and that spoke to me as far as the opening scene instead of the old trailer park. There was a sense of found family, which I really dug, which is huge in military science fiction. However, we got that without the author feeling the need to fridge his bio family, which was also cool because they were still on Earth. The space fighter jock scenes were creative and a lot of fun to read. I could definitely envision Goose and Maverick in the air with Alex Rogan as they beat back the enemy hordes. If you know, you know. The technology was explained in just enough details to make it make sense, but not so much as to lose your sense of wonder. And the names were a hoot. I liked that the cockpit was called a cassette and the space drive was nicknamed a Rubik's Cube. Like, dude, seriously, what's not to love? The Rubik's Cube is the warp drive. The characters and the intrapersonal dynamics were a lot of fun. I loved the crazy cast. I definitely am going to check out the audiobook because I read a ARC copy, so I haven't listened to the audiobook yet. And finally, I really loved the fun references to pop culture. I was really digging it. Is there anything that I didn't like? Obviously, the only thing I didn't like was waiting for book 2. Seriously, this was high-octane adventure from start to finish, and I think you're going to dig it. So if you love science fiction with a nod towards 80s nostalgia, this series is for you. Go buy the book. You won't regret it. Boom.